Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the Sideline Story. It's your boy Ray Swish. I'm here with my boy Queso. What's up, man?
It's good to be back, man. How you living?
Chilling, man. So you got some work for us today, man. You got some work for us today. What you got for us, man?
Yeah, so it's been a lot of over the past couple months, especially like from like All-Star break on and throughout the playoffs. There's a lot of talk about who is the new face of the NBA with LeBron possibly retiring after this season and players like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant kind of on their way out as well. There's a lot of debate about who can be the best, who can be the new face of the league. Obviously Ja was the option and he kind of had his issue. But now I guess we can have a discussion about who we think is best positioned to be the new face of the league once the older guys kind of go on to different endeavors once they retire. So I guess we can start off and just kind of give who we think is our maybe top two or three, and then debate or talk about why we feel that way.
First, before we do that, I had a chance to talk to B Mill about this, but I feel like now um I had a little more time to think about it. With being the face of the league, you kind of got to check a lot of boxes like personality, leadership. Can they market you? LeBron kind of checked all of those boxes, and he kind of felt like an ambassador for the game. Um, I got Ant Man, bro. I feel like I don't even know if I really just need to like name off candidates. I kind of got Ant Man. I think from a personality standpoint, he just jump off the screen, and then when you watch him play, it's like his game is just he has an all around basketball game. He can pretty much do it all. He's electric. Um, he's not as quite accomplished as a lot of other players, but I feel like he's on his way. He can kind of bring Minnesota really back to like that true relevance that Kevin Garnett kind of had. He may even surpass that. But
Yeah,
I kind of think it's him though. I kind of think it's him.
I had Ant Man in my top three. I think I have him number three. And the reason why I would say Ant Man is because one, while I don't think it has to be an American born player, I do think from the American born players, he's probably the front runner. Obviously the Michael Jordan comparisons don't hurt them calling him Michael Jordan's son and this and that. So that can only help your case for being the face of the league. And then just like the way he kind of took the league by storm, especially like going into the playoffs and in that first two rounds of the playoffs, like all the talk was about Ant Man, how he was playing, and so I think he definitely should be one of the top picks. If I'm going with my top pick, I'm leaning towards Luca just because he's kind of been on the brink of MVPs pretty much every season since he's been in the league. He's already in a bigger market. He just led his team to the finals. He's a very likable player. I think everybody likes him. I think everybody likes him, and it's just he's has the skills. He's arguably one of the top two or three players in the league, so you can't really debate that. So he checks almost all the boxes. With him being foreign born, I think could kind of hold him back. But I think at this point in America, I think we would embrace it just because our past couple MVPs have all been, foreign from Embiid to Jokic to Giannis. It's kind of been trending that way. So I don't think that would really hold him back as far as being a face of the league. And America just loves him. Like everything he does, people love it. So I got Luke as my top pick.
I ain't mad at that. I kind of feel bad, me being a Maverick fan. I kind of feel bad, but not having Luca. But he definitely would be in like my top three. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a Celtic standpoint, why wouldn't you name like Jason Tatum, like not like the face, but like a candidate kind of?
He's in my top five. The
Okay.
reason why I wouldn't have him as D face is just because I feel like a lot of the narrative, especially as of late, has been like, is he even the best player on his team? Which I think he is, but I think a lot of people would debate that now and kind of even slightly edge Jalen Brown.
Right.
He has the marketability. He has a ton of commercials.
Hmm.
He's all over the place. I just think it's that is he the best player combined with like kind of like after the championship. I think he got a lot of negative like a lot of negative press for like not having his own like thoughts and like feelings towards winning. Like they said he copied Kobe and he copied, KG and all that with his like the different mannerisms and stuff. And they're saying like he doesn't really have his own like personality and his own style. So I think that, like you said, that kind of holds you back if you don't check that box. So that's why I wouldn't have Tatum there. I think another good season and just kind of more coming into his own as a player because he's just entering his prime and he could be that guy. But as of right now, I wouldn't have him in my top three or four. He's right there on that five.
I thought about Shea. Only thing with Shea, I feel like I'm not saying Shea doesn't have personality, but it kind of like it doesn't really show as much as you would want it to. And playing in Oklahoma City, that small market, you know what I'm saying? I kind of feel like that market doesn't really get a lot of exposure. Like a lot of people, when Shea first got drafted to the Clippers, the people who, if Shea was nice coming out of
Yeah.
Kentucky, but it was just like he didn't really come into his own, like this 30 points per game type of play until he got to the Thunder. He pretty much has his own team now,
Yeah.
and that trajectory is definitely headed in the right direction. They trending upwards for sure, but I just feel like from a personality standpoint, he's kind of more reserved. From if you're looking at from like fashion, he's definitely outspoken. He's known for his fits for sure, but just him as far as like being very vocal around like cameras and stuff like that, you kind of don't really see it too much like an Ant-Man would. But I thought about him. I think that small market kind of what maybe could hinder him from being like face of the league. But from a basketball perspective, he's equal to pretty much any of his peers, if not better.
Yeah, like what you said about him, he's kind of like mild mannered, like kind of chill. And I think that's one thing that could potentially hold Anthony Edwards back, is that sometimes he's too kind of out there. He's had some controversial things he said and done, and like real nonchalant about it. So I think that's one of the things that could hold him back. But his talent, like everything else, it's through the roof. So he might be able to offset it and just counter it by just being amazing on the court and kind of tone it down a little bit off the court. I guess up next on the docket, so we got to the who we think could be the face of the league. Now we get to a little start, cut, bench, or start, bench, cut, however you want to put it. Pretty much 3 players. We'll go through what we would do with those players, whether we would start one, or who would start, who would bench, and who would cut. So for this first one, we're gonna go with Jalen Brunson, Ja Morant, and Anthony Edwards. So we got to start one, bench one, cut one.
I feel like this one gonna get somebody in trouble. You said Ant-Man, Ja, and Jalen?
Yeah. I try to keep it like guards, even though they're not all point guards. They kind of like guard, like combo guards, pretty much.
I'm gonna start Ant-Man. I'm gonna bench Jalen Brunson, and I'm gonna cut Ja. I know it might sound, I don't know how this is gonna sound to some people, but I had to come from the perspective of what have you done for me lately. I know Ja hasn't really been in the good graces of a lot of people. I personally, I hope that he kind of cleaned everything up, because Ja is exciting to watch. But like I said, if I'm coming from what have you done for me lately perspective, we just saw Anthony Edwards take the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Western Conference Finals. We just saw Jalen Brunson with a banged up New York Knicks team go to the second round of the playoffs, which they could have easily made the conference finals if they were fully healthy. But that's kind of where I'm coming at it from. It's no disrespect to Ja. We all love Ja Morant. I hope that he has his sights set on winning, coming back full health, come back with his head on straight. So, yeah, that's kind of mine's right there. What you got?
All right, so mine's I'm gonna start Ant. I'm gonna bench Ja, and I'm gonna cut Brunson. And the only reason why is because I do believe in like Ja's comeback and his upside, because that Memphis Grizzlies team, before he had the incident with the gun and the injury, they were deep in the playoffs against the Lakers. They were trending upwards, good young players. So obviously that kind of set them back. But I still think Ja as a player is one of a kind. Like, that dude is probably the most athletic point guard I've ever seen. One of the most athletic guards, period, I've ever seen. And he's kind of gotten better each year in the league. He's kind of gotten better, become a better passer, better decision maker, cutting down on the turnovers, and a slightly better shooter. He's still not the greatest shooter, but he's gotten better. Ant-Man, I think that start is almost kind of a gimme, like what he did this past season, just everything from the marketability, from the getting your team to where they need to be, and just kind of being a number 1 pick and trending upwards and showing that you deserve to be in that spot. And it's tough to cut Brunson just because he has, since he left Dallas these past 2 years, he has been an all NBA player, just one of the better guards in the league. But it's just, I don't know, I feel like defensively he can be a little bit more of a liability than the other two. And I think scoring wise, he can kind of, with either one of them, he's probably the better scorer out of both of them, especially as far as efficiency goes. But I just think defensive wise, he's a little bit of a liability. And then he is a little bit older. So I don't know. And then, like I said, the injuries, and he's coming off the hand injury right now, which I think it's only going to get worse with being with Thibodeau and the way he's running those guys like nonstop. So That's why I was slightly edged Morant over Brunson when it comes to the cut or bench part. But I think Ant-Man is the for sure start.
You got another one, or that was it?
I mean, I could come up with one right now. It's kind of this one's gonna be tough though. I don't know how you would even get past this, but we'll go start, bench, cut, Giannis, Joker, Embiid. That one I feel like it's almost impossible, but I got how I would go.
I'm gonna start Joker, bench, Giannis, cut, Embiid.
Okay.
Mine is basically off of playoff success. That's kind of like where I'm gonna approach that from. Joker, I ain't gonna front. With my homies, I was kind of saying that until he finally breaks through and win a championship, like I don't really want to hear nothing that he does in the playoffs, because it was a point where everybody talks about Jokic. Like by the time his career is done, he'll be a top 2 big man of all time. That's kind of what the dialogue is around him. His game is amazing. He's probably the most fascinating big, as far as like from a basketball standpoint, I've seen in a long time, and he deserves all the credit that he gets. He finally broke through, won the championship. Giannis finally broke through and won the championship, because I remember a while back, like Chris Broussard, he was doing like a sit down, and he was kind of saying that it's time for us to put these championship expectations on Giannis too. I feel like every superstar player gets those after like they kind of break through and become a superstar. It's time to, once they get to the playoffs, get out the first round, get to the second round, kind of flirt with the third round. They kind of get those expectations like put upon them. So with Embiid, I feel like he's the only one that hasn't really broke through with like significant playoff success like the 2 before him. So that's kind of where I take it.
See, as much as that makes complete sense, but for me, I'm actually starting Embiid, I'm benching Joker, and I'm cutting Giannis. And my reason why is because I think Embiid, like I think he is like pound for pound the best big man in the league. I know Joker has the the back-to-back MVPs and the 3 MVPs out of 4, whatever it is, but man, Embiid is something about when he's on the court and healthy, like it's just you can't stop him. And it's just like, man, when you get that version of Embiid, I mean, I wish we could get it in the playoffs, so it's kind of a big what if. But if we get that version in the playoffs with this team he has right now, I think it's an automatic Eastern Conference Finals, and it could be a finals trip for him. Obviously, the other 2 guys have their rings already. So if I'm comparing Joker and Giannis, I'm gonna take Joker just because in these past couple of years he's been undeniable. He got the ring a season ago, and he just when you think like teams are gonna find a way to slow him down or stop him, he just adds another wrinkle and he just runs that offense like a Magic Johnson type, just unathletic. He can't jump, he can't do anything that'll blow by you, but his basketball IQ and his basketball skills just through the roof. Giannis, I think he's kind of peaked as a player. I don't think he's really gonna get any better. These past couple of seasons, he's missed some playoffs with the injuries. And I just think his game, like he's not a good enough shooter to really, I don't know, he doesn't really, he like the downhill game he has is good, and he's so talented that he can get away with a lot of the times. But in the playoffs, when these teams are just kind of box you in and clogging that paint, like you can get exposed, and you gotta make a big shot, or I mean, his free throw shooting ain't the best, but when you really need him, it can kind of fall through if he's not really on one. I know he had that one finals game where he went like 14 for 15 or whatever, but for the most part, that's not gonna happen with him.
Giannis is 29.
29 or 30. Let me see. I gotta put it right here. I can see.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like I like to kind of think sometimes of what players have like another step to go until they kind of reach final form. And for Giannis, it was always the jump shooting, like especially like down the stretch. Can he really close you out with his jump shooting? I see a lot of videos in the offseason. Oh, Giannis has been working on this jumper. I saw one this summer with the Olympic play. He was hitting a lot of jumpers, but I was like, I felt like we kind of been down this road before. I need him to show me throughout the season and like make a deep playoff run with that jump shooting potential.
Yeah.
He kind of hasn't showed us that yet, which kind of has me thinking what you were just saying. Now he kind of may have reached final form with his basketball game, which isn't bad. He's just not a prolific jump shooter, not even a really semi-decent jump shooter at that. But
yeah, and even without it, he's still easily a top 5 player in the league. So it's not like it's really that bad of a knock on him, but it's still like if he would do that, just imagine the step he could take.
Right. What that was a star bench cut, man, and a potential face of the league, man. We appreciate y'all for pulling up. We're gonna try to get some fun content out for y'all, man. Y'all have a Blessed night. Peace.